Hello and welcome to the MVEA Digital Twin demonstration. This one is about editing using Visio to edit files and create visualizations of your models, and particularly the data linking, the linking of the shapes to the SharePoint lists and database with all the catalogs that we've got. So we're using the MVEA Business Digital Twin. So things will be laid out like this if you use it this particular way. Otherwise, if you've got it set up in a different way, you might have to find these things in different places. First of all, let's go and have a look at the templates and stencils. So if we go to the library, into the architecture practice and then templates and stencils, here I have a number of particularly these two files that we'll be using today. Stencils are very important and useful in Visio. They provide the shapes. You can create your own, but I've got one set up for MVEA, which helps us to draw a standardized set of Visio diagrams. But we'll also be using this template, which we will make a copy of. Just referring again to the stencils, Visio needs that stencil to be in your local drive or locally accessible through File Explorer. So either download it to your C drive and put it somewhere safe where you know you can find it, or as I have done, in fact, I have the whole of this hierarchy, this whole of these folders synchronized with OneDrive, so it's accessible on my OneDrive directly, so I don't need to do that download. Now, we're using a template just to save a little bit of time on some of the setup. You don't have to. You can start off with a completely new blank Visio diagram, but I'm going to use this template. Now, let's assume that I'm a solutions architect and I want to draw a solution using the applications that we have in our organization. So the first thing I would do then is to copy this template, and I would be copying it to the Solutions Architecture folder, and in here I would create a new folder. Let's say it's called Project A, and once that's created, I can go in here and copy it to here. Sorry about that. So that's now copied that. I can now navigate to that a particular area, that folder, and go to Project A. And for example, we can open it up in Visio Online. It won't be very exciting because it's blank, of course. If we're going to edit it, then one way to edit it is to open it this way in the desktop app. And once that's opened up, it opens up on my other screen. I will then drag it up. No, it's opened up on the screen, so it's coming up. And there it is. Now, the reason that we have some of the elements of this template is that a bunch of information is stored over here in this info area, which is already pre-set up. And in a moment, I'll show you how that can help in setting up the titles in a standard way. But first, what we've got to do is load in the stencil. So we move to More Shapes and Open Stencil. And we need to navigate, in my case, to the stencil, which is that MVEA stencil that we've got. That now loads that stencil up, and here are the shapes available. First thing we can do is grab our title, throw it up here, and that will already automatically populate it with some standard information that, as I said, came from the file info, except for this over here. For example, as you can see, this is actually using this name. If I rename that to Project A Solution 1, for example, so spell it right, then that changes that name. Right, now what we want to do is link in some data. So moving to Data tab, which is only available if you've got Visio Pro, and Custom Import, we move to the SharePoint Foundation list. We need to find the correct link, the URL for your particular digital twin or architecture repository, and we're just going to bring in the applications, full list of the applications, click on next and click on finish. This will bring in a full list of all the applications. Now what you could do is limit that list so that you're only bringing in applications that you're interested in. You can create your own filter. That's a part of a separate exercise or a separate demonstration on how to create filters and use the architecture catalog. But in this case, we've just loaded the full list in out of simplicity. Now, when it loads it, there's a bunch of information that we're not that interested in that it loads in. So what we can do is just simplify things for ourselves by just turning off any bits of information which may not be of interest to us. There's a lot of information available, so we can turn all this off just to take it away. Not vital, just a tip to make things easier. Right, so down here then is the list directly loaded in. To update it, a right mouse button click within this area and a click on refresh data. There are other ways of doing it. You can do a refresh up here, refresh all, or refresh just the file that you're particularly interested in. So that is how we keep that up to date. Now, if we were going to draw a bunch of applications perhaps put some links between it, let's go and find those applications. I'm just going to pick a few at random. What you can do is pick, if you set up a particular filter, then that would have all the ones that you're interested in. But let's just say we're going to pick a few here out of interest, the ones that we will particularly want. We just click on the shape over here, and you drag it up here like this. It will now automatically populate all of those shapes with data pre-set up from this list. In other words, the title, as you can see, perhaps is shown and displayed immediately on the shape. You can, of course, change the shape size, move it around, do whatever you like with it. What I often do, having collected it like this, is then to put it in line or put it onto the side, I'll do something like that. But then what you can do is move these shapes to where you want, and perhaps, create some links between the two. We're going to have a relationship between these two here, over here. You can even, if you've got interfaces defined, we can create interfaces as well, and lay out exactly what you want in the way that you want it. You don't have to use these particular stencils or shapes, by the way. We could, for example, choose completely different, for example, if you wanted to actually bring in servers, let's say, and wanted a more fancy server shape, you can do the same. I just click on that once and drag it in. But this will not have then any of the cleverer colors and other data graphics available. As you can see, it doesn't even show the name, for example, the title. I'll show you how to do that though. There's again a little trick. If we select all of those shapes, we click on View, Add-ons, and Maps, and Floor Plans, and then Label Shapes. We can now go and choose from this list title, and you could choose anything else. Clicking on that will now put that title there. You can then make it bigger and do whatever you want with those. So that's precisely how this is being displayed. It's just been set up in the stencil. The other thing that's been set up in the stencil is the data graphic. The data graphics that we've got here, as you can see, these are applied to all of these. If I edit that data graphic, what it's doing is picking up the current status and color coding exactly like that. The other one is the assessment score, which is using this icon depending on the status. And that's exactly how we draw diagrams and link them to the backend database. I hope that makes sense. I'm going to finish this off now. Obviously, just saving that with its own file name, and makes it ready and available, and it's automatically available. If I do that, just save it and close that off, and go back to this video online. That diagram now should, when it refreshes, should show you that it's all up and there it is. It's available immediately for anybody, even if they don't have Visio. Hope that makes sense. Thanks for your time.